If you're a runner, or actually, even if you're not a runner, this is a very special day in the calendar because it's London Marathon Day. But today's a little bit different because today is London Marathon, but it's virtual London Marathon, so only the pros are running, and it would have been me, actually. I have qualified for this race and it has been deferred to next year. Mary has now qualified for this race and will hopefully be racing next year. But what we're going to do this week is, if you are a runner or if you are thinking about starting running, it doesn't matter, we're going to take you with us and we are going to run our virtual London Marathon. But we're not exactly going to run it because I've only just come back from injury, so Mary's going to do the bulk of it because she's in her last training block for the New York Marathon virtual, and I'm going to run whatever's left over just so that we can say that we've run the virtual London Marathon together, our combined miles. Cheating, yes. But it's the thought that counts, right? You broke him. Wow. That's amazing. If you're not inspired by stuff like that, what can you be inspired by? Can we turn this down a second so that I can talk to the camera? So let me tell you what you're going to get if you watch this video. We're going to run you through our journeys from where we started to getting to marathon distance, just to show you that it is possible if you've never run a marathon before or if you've never run before. It doesn't matter. But also, I'm going to put forward my argument why all runners should consider running the London Marathon, because honestly, it's the best thing I've ever done and I am addicted to that. But I'll put forward my case. That's what you're going to get this week. Mary, let's go running. This is actually cheating because it's London Marathon Day today and we're out for a run together. But Mary from the past already put a lot of kilometres in yesterday on her long run, and she's trying to do as many as she can to reduce the load on me because I'm coming back from injury and can't really run far distances. So this is your second run.
It is.
Why don't we go and hear from Mary in the past about her journey to marathon and London Marathon motivation first?
Yeah, enjoy me yesterday.
And then we'll be back to Mary from the future. That one.
I started running properly just over 2 years ago, and it's been a journey and I can't believe how far I've come. I used to run as a child, lots, mainly athletics, and then I was basically doing the odd 5k just to keep fit, but 2.5 years ago I didn't even think I could go beyond 5k, and I decided to aim towards completing a 10k first of all. So I trained to my 10k, ran my first 10k in October 2018, 2 years ago this month, and it was awesome. Hard work, consistency in my training got me to a really good point and I loved it. And fun fact, I actually won the race. So I was really spurred on and wanted to do more, and decided I'd try and go for a half marathon next. So by then I was hooked and loving running. Trained for the London Landmarks Half Marathon, which is amazing. If you're aiming for a half marathon and you're anywhere near London or in the UK, have a look at that one. And I absolutely loved it, as you can tell. I ran 5 half marathons in 2019, and yeah, some ups, some downs. I tried to do a sub 90 half marathon, failed, but that spurred me on to want to achieve something else, which was running a marathon. Once I decided I was going to run a marathon, it was all in with the training, and that was this time last year, all through winter. Lucky to do training in Australia when we were away, and I was working towards Seville Marathon in February 2020. So I'm one of the lucky few that have actually run a marathon this year. Made it to another county. So back to Seville. Epic race. Loved it. Ran 3:36, which was my goal basically. I wanted to get a good for age time in order to qualify for London Marathon 2021. And I did it! Went out way too hard, suffered at the end, but chuffed with my time and beyond excited to run the London Marathon hopefully next year. They've released the good for age time brackets for next year and I'm well within. I think I'm 9 minutes under, so I should have a place. And to line up next year at the start line in London will be one of the most exciting things that could happen in my life. I can't wait. Got a nice quiet country road at last. So to finish my story, here I am, 16 kilometres into my 29-kilometre marathon training run. Currently training for the New York virtual marathon in 4 weeks, and that's part of my journey to running London, get another marathon under my belt. I'll be in New York one day in the next 3 years running it in person, but for now I'm going to enjoy watching the London Marathon this weekend and feeling excited about the fact that I'll get to run it myself next year.
Thank you, past Mary. We're back. We're back into the present, and Mary ran 26 kilometres yesterday, aiming to do 5 today, which takes it to 31, which means I'm going to have to run 11.2 kilometres to make it up to the marathon, which is very manageable. So I've got 11.2 kilometres to convince you to start running or to aim for the London Marathon.
My favourite.
This is Mary's staple. It's not a great day, but it is a great day to explain why you should be aiming for the London Marathon. And I'll give you a little background into me. I actually didn't start running with running. Does that make sense? I started in triathlon. I did running while I was growing up just to be fitter to play football, but I never took it seriously. I actually took triathlon seriously and it snowballed from there. No, the way it worked for me was that I did my first triathlon in 2012 just to see what it was like. And the swim was atrocious, bike leg atrocious, but the run, it was like 5th or 6th best on the day. And that kind of sparked a little side fire in me that although I loved the triathlon, I was going to keep doing that. Maybe I'd be quite good at some standalone races in running as well. So I set about looking into what was around. And you have to remember, at this stage, I was only running 5s and maybe the odd 10k. I could not envisage myself ever running a marathon distance, just couldn't see it in my head. And while I was running those 5 and 10Ks, 2 crucial things happened that locked me in the game. One was not as important as the other, and that is the first one. I did quite well. I had some top 10 finishes, you know, I ran reasonably well, but I have never been locked into medals or doing well, because the second thing that happened, and this is the important thing, and this is what kept me in the game, is I could see race after race I was getting better, I was improving. Some races I was getting faster, but some races I was just feeling better, and that locked me in to move it on. And while we let Winnie play a little bit, I'm going to gloss over half marathons, because whilst I've done a couple and I did really enjoy them, I've done the majority of my half marathons in middle distance triathlons. But once you get to a half marathon distance and you understand the intensity that you have to put in and what it feels like, the natural progression is a marathon, and I felt that quite quickly, that I felt that I was ready to go for a marathon, so I stepped it up. So on New Year's Eve 2018, I ran my first ever marathon, and it was a trail marathon, and it was called the Flitchway in Essex. And after that, a month later, I ran an ultra marathon. This is all before London, because I wanted to learn how it feels, learn some lessons going into London so I could really give it my all on the day. So then to London, in April 2019. What a day! And it's absolutely tipping it down now, but I couldn't care less because let me tell you about London. It was such a good day, and it wasn't because I had a good run. It wasn't because it was a nice weather day. It was the people. The positivity surrounding that race was like something I've never ever experienced in my life. You see, while I was out on the course, pretty much every metre of the course was covered by a human who didn't know you, who was cheering you on. That's unreal. I actually want to stop to give this moment gravitas. Just think about this for a second. People who don't know you, have got no connection to you other than being a human being, come out onto a race course and cheer you on, and not just cheer you on, act like they know you. They really give it everything, especially because I had my name across my vest. There wasn't very much of the course that I wasn't nearly in tears. Honestly, it was the best thing I've ever experienced race-wise. I see it as a cycle of positivity because there's people out being inspired by people running who are in turn inspired by the people cheering them on who don't know them, and so on and so on. It is a spiral, a cycle, but upwards of positivity. And it's that, not because it's an iconic race, not because you get some kind of kudos, not because you can run a fast time because it's flat. It's the fact that you're seeing the absolute best in humanity. That's why I will try and be involved in the London Marathon every year for as long as I'm living. And it doesn't mean that I'll get in every year, but I will try and be involved on the day in some capacity, supporting whatever I can. And I would urge you to think about doing the same, because it is a race like no other, and it has restored my faith in humanity in these dark times. And that, I think, is the London Marathon between Mary and I done. But I'm just going to go into the house to check that she did do the 5k today. Otherwise, I've got to go back out and do a bit more. I didn't check my phone, but I've got to do one more kilometre. Mary got to 4, so I'm not far off. Back out. All right, now we're really done. And if you can't enjoy an ice cream on the day that you've run the virtual London Marathon, actually Mary's done most of the heavy lifting, then when can you? Oh, sorry. Uh-oh. So if you watch this and you're thinking, do you know what? That does interest me. Running the London Marathon could be something that I might build to over the next few years or next year or whatever. Then please do consider it. And I know everyone comes back to me and says, oh yeah, but it's really hard to get a place in the London Marathon with the ballot entry being what it is. But there are other options. You could go down the charity route. There are a ton of very worthy charity choices that you could pick and raise money for. If it's a one-off, it's a one-off, but that will get you into the marathon, and it is worth experiencing. You came to watch last year, and you really want to be in it, don't you?
It was amazing, and I can't wait to experience it myself.
So don't give up if you haven't got in through the ballot. Plenty more options. All I'm saying is, it's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, maybe a few times in a lifetime, but you get what I'm saying. It is a race like no other. I'd recommend it above all else. So get out there, start training, and start setting your goals on the big prizes. And we'll see you soon. We need to eat this, Mary, because it's melting.
Fine by me.